October 13th, 1972. A small Uruguayan Air Force plane, Flight 571, takes off from Montevideo, carrying 45 people, the Old Christians rugby team, their friends, and family. Spirits are high, the air filled with laughter and dreams of victory in Chile. But as the aircraft crosses the Andes, the mountains strike back. A navigational error, clouds, a sudden impact, metal tearing like paper. When silence finally falls, the fuselage lies broken on the snow. 12 people are dead, others are dying. 33 survivors cling to life in a place where life does not belong. At 12,000 feet, the Andes are not mountains. They are a desert of snow. No animals, no plants, just ice, rock, and wind. The survivors search the wreckage, a few chocolate bars, some wine, a tin of mussels. They ration it, crumb by crumb. But hunger is merciless. Muscles weaken, voices fade. Each sunrise brings not relief, but another death. Then, 8 days later, hope dies with the radio broadcast. Search efforts for Flight 571 have been abandoned, all passengers presumed dead. They are alone, truly alone. Hunger is no longer discomfort, it is agony. Their bodies begin to consume themselves. Ribs protrude like skeletons beneath the skin. And then, in whispers, a thought emerges. One so horrific, so taboo, it seems impossible to speak aloud. The frozen bodies of their friends, preserved in the snow. At first, they recoil. Catholics, raised with deep respect for the body, cannot bear the thought. To eat human flesh feels like a betrayal, a sin beyond forgiveness. But the logic is undeniable. Animals do not exist here. No rescue is coming. Either they use what nature and death has left them, or they all perish. The decision is made not in greed, but in desperation, in prayer. Survivors gather, many weeping, and agree. This act is not desecration. It is communion. A final gift from the dead to the living. Using broken glass, they cut thin strips of flesh. Frozen, it is stiff as leather. They place it in their mouths. Imagine it. Your friend, your teammate, your brother in arms, now your only source of food. The taste is not what scars them. It is the guilt, the shame, the horror of crossing humanity's deepest boundary. But the body, starving for weeks, demands nourishment. And slowly, life begins to return. How does one live with such a choice? The survivors found strength in faith. They spoke of the Eucharist, of Christ giving his flesh for life eternal. They believed their dead friends would have wanted them to live, even through this. Still, not everyone could bear it. Some refused until their bodies were too weak to resist. Others accepted quickly, understanding it as survival's final rule. For 72 days, the cycle continued. The living carried the dead, and the dead in turn sustained the living. It was not savagery, it was not madness, it was the mathematics of survival, written in blood and snow. On the 17th night, an avalanche thundered down the slope, burying the fuselage. 8 more died. The survivors clawed through suffocating snow, their shelter now a tomb. With even fewer left, their reliance on the dead became absolute. Every bite reminded them of their humanity and their fragility. But in those moments, they forged a bond deeper than most will ever know. They had crossed into a place few could imagine, a place where the line between life and death was measured by the will to survive. By December, starvation and despair had reached their peak. It was clear, salvation would not come from the sky. It had to come from their own feet. Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, with Antonio Vicentin at first, began their trek across the Andes. 10 days, 30 miles, powered only by strips of dried human flesh tucked into their packs. When they finally descended into Chile and handed a note to a stranger across a river, it marked the end of one journey and the beginning of another. The rescue. On December 22nd and 23rd, helicopters pulled the last 14 from the mountains. But the world wanted answers. 16 had survived while 29 had not. How? When the truth of cannibalism emerged, there was outrage, shock, fascination, but the survivors did not hide it. They explained with dignity the reality of hunger, the cold logic of survival, the prayers and tears that came with each decision. And the world slowly came to understand. What seemed monstrous at first became something else entirely, a testament to the lengths the human spirit will go to preserve life. Andes Flight 571 is remembered not only for its tragedy, but for its humanity. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. What would you do when death is certain? What is morality when survival is at stake? For the survivors, cannibalism was not a crime. It was sacrifice. It was friendship turned to nourishment. It was life carried forward by death. Today, their story is told in books, films, and classrooms, not as a tale of horror, but as one of courage, resilience, and the darkest choices a human can endure. This was not just the story of a plane crash. This was the story of life wrestled back from death through choices most of us could never imagine. This was the miracle of the Andes. I just want to say thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a like. I will see you next time.